Have you ever had a tune stuck in your brain? And it just goes and goes many times, especially a hazard of people that go to choir practice in the evening, and then that verse is there, and you go to bed. Yes. But we've all had that, perhaps. And this week, when I read the gospel, there was a phrase from it that sort of stuck in my head. I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. I'd feel better if it was I, the Lord your God, am a compassionate God, or a just God, or a loving God, or a wise God. But I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. So at least in my way of thinking about jealousy, in humans, it's kind of shaded as a negative emotion, right? I mean, there's a certain kind of inappropriate sort of possessiveness about it, a almost paranoia sometimes with jealousy. And so I just have trouble with that word being sort of so powerfully claimed by God. So to sort of get this verse out of my brain, the good thing to do with a Bible verse is to get the context. So there it is. It's in the Ten Commandments, right? And it's right after the first two commandments. You shall have no other gods. That sounds kind of jealous, you know. No one else. No other gods. And you will have no idols, and don't make for yourself any idols. Don't bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. But I intentionally left out the most important verse of the Ten Commandments, which is the very first line. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt in the house of bondage. I am the God who knows your situation, who knows where you are, knows what you are living under, living with, dealing with. I, the Lord your God, am compassionate. I am jealous for you. I care so much about what's happening in your world, in your life. I, the Lord your God, am the God who brings you out of that place. I bring you out of places of bondage, enslavement. I bring you out to good places, a better place. And knowing the story, it's not that it's easy. It's not that there's nothing required of the people of God. But still, I, the Lord your God, am jealously looking over you, bringing you out. And so, have no other God. Don't be looking to other lesser things to deliver you. They cannot deliver what they promise. Don't look and bow down, serve, orient yourself toward human constructions. An idol is something people make, and what it represents behind that thing you can make. Maybe control, power, safety, security. And don't bow down to that, because it won't keep you safe. It can't. I, the Lord your God, am the one who can bring you out and is truly, rightly jealous over you. So, in a very different story, we hear Jesus going into the temple. But what is the temple? He says, it's my Father's house. It's the place where you kind of, above all else, go to keep the first two commandments. You go to worship. There's no idols permitted in the temple. It's all about the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. But when Jesus comes to the temple, he finds there's a lot of idols. No one thought of it that way. But he sees this commotion, this marketplace. We all know that story really well. Jesus is jealous for his Father. And it's the divine jealousy saying, I want this place to be a place where people can come and be with me and worship and bring the things they need to be set free from. The temple was the place for the Jewish people, above all else, where you could seek forgiveness and be released from things that bound you and harmed you. Come to find healing. Come to rejoice and give thanks for blessings from God. This is a place for communion with the God who brought us out of Egypt, the God who leads us and delivers us. And 2/3 of the temple area is this huge courtyard that's for all peoples. Don't have to be Jews to come into the court of the Gentiles. It's for everybody, but it's been co-opted, it's been hijacked, and it's a big place of buying and selling sheep and cattle and doves. And look at this. Those are legitimate things to do, but not there. Not in God's place. Not in God's house. And it obstructs people from God. It distracts people from God. And I wonder, it was convenient. How often do I allow convenience to make decisions for me? Expediency. It probably was very profitable, and there are probably people taking cuts. The Bible doesn't tell me that. I'm just thinking about the way human beings are. How often are people driven by, profit motive? Have no idols before me. Don't bow down to any of those things. So as we come into the middle of the Lenten season, and we still have several weeks to try to deepen what? Our relationship with God, who loves us, who's jealous for us, who says, keep your eyes with me, keep your heart with me. I will lead you out of the things that bind you. I will take you, it may be hard, but I will take you to good places. Stay with me. Don't get distracted. Don't let your eyes wander off me. Keep me in the place I need to be in your life. Don't fill it with other things. So, let's examine ourselves and be careful about who we're trying to please. How we appear to the world, to other people. Not just physical appearance, but just do I appear, I'm in control, I have my act together. But am I so concerned about that I don't remember how I appear to God, how I appear before the Lord. So work this week. Think about God's place in your life and how we keep our eyes on God. Because the Lord our God is a jealous God who loves us and leads us out. We need to listen. I listen to so many other things. All have their legitimate place, no doubt. But am I listening? How am I listening to God? And as we come today, look and bow down to the one God sent, Jesus, who comes in that divine, jealous love and pours himself out that we might be made well, that we might know truth, that we might have peace. Thanks be to God.